Okay, so I'm going to be without my computer for a few weeks, and I am crying over this, but my trackpad needs to be fixed, so it needs to go. So I figured I'd do a quick video on how I edit my photos while I have it, and that way I have some type of content to put up for you guys, and you might learn something. We'll see. So I use Lightroom to edit my photos. I take a lot of photos with uh, my camera. I have a Canon 70D, and my husband shoots Nikon. So we have, between us, we have a lot of equipment. So, so once you get into Lightroom, I go into the library. We're going to import the photos that I just took of my latest card. And it's already picked my source. Actually, maybe I should put in my SD card there. There we go. So I have some video footage on here also, so I want to uncheck those. I don't need to import those into Lightroom. I'm going to put these photos in here. We're going to import those. So these are just the 8 photos that I just took of my latest card. And I like to look at them bigger because I can't see. This little tab here, this will zoom it in for you. So if you need to see if it's blurry or not blurry. I shoot manually. I don't use auto. So the settings on my camera change depending on the time of day. I have started using a monopod to capture my photos. I'd like to have like a second tripod, but you know, they're pretty expensive. So I just went to Target and I bought a monopod, which is just a stick to help me stabilize the camera. That way you can do like a longer exposure and your photo is going to come out clear. So here's my photo. I'm going to edit this one for Instagram. Okay, so we're going to go to develop and we're going to make it a little square because Instagram likey the square. So 1:1, and we're going to just shrink it down a little bit. I take my photos in front of a window in my dining room. So this is my buffet table. Back here is a decanter, an old decanter, and some corks that you could probably see them in a lot of my photos. So once I make it a little square, okay, we're going to adjust slightly. Usually the exposure is what it is. I don't like to adjust the exposure too much because I think it kind of blurs out a lot of things or makes it super bright, and that's not good either. But I do like to bump up the contrast a little. Now highlights, depending on the time of day, you might want to bump up the highlight or take it down. So I'm just going to bump it up a little bit on this one. The shadows, we're going to make it a little bit darker. It's really your own personal preference. I like to make it turn up the whites, and I like to turn down the blacks and bump up the clarity just a little. Let's see if we can blow that up a little. So this will show you the before and after. It's not too bad. You want to do a lot of your adjusting in the camera when you're taking the photo. But I just, enhance it just a little. And I want to make sure that it's true to color too. So always try to make sure that it actually looks like what the card looks like. Once I've adjusted it, cropped it down, adjusted the settings a little bit, I export it and I save it to my desktop so I can retrieve it quickly. that's my Instagram post for when I put this video up. And I also like to do size one for a YouTube thumbnail. Now this one's clear. So I like to size them for YouTube using 4x6. So that just tells you the ratio. So I'm gonna usually make the card a little bit to the right because I have a little banner that comes right here. So that one is good. And again, the exposure is fine. Contrast, highlight, shadows, whites, blacks. You can set these. If you have settings that you do all the time, you can preset it. And you don't even have to mess with this. But I don't. It changes every time I take a photo. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to export this one so that I can make a thumbnail. I'm also going to use those also for my blog photos and Etsy. So I've got a few shots of the card flat, and this one you can kind of see that happy birthday is a little blurry, but the pig and the cupcake is in focus. And it's really your own personal preference of what you want your photo to look like. Sometimes it's nice to have the sentiment highlighted and have your image a little blurry. I think I'm going to go with the one where the sentiment is blurry and the image is in focus. So again, we're going to just crop it just a little bit. And let's see turn up the exposure just slightly on that. Contrast, highlight. I'm going to turn up the shadow on this. White, black, clarity. So that's pretty good. So we're going to export this one. Now I put a year, like my last name and the year that I took the photo for all my photos, even when I take pictures of my kids. So that's always on my photo. I like to know instantly when I'm looking at it what year I took it. So I don't want to have to look in the metadata. So that's how I do that. And now I'll show you how I do my YouTube thumbnail. For that I use Canva. It's a free web-based application. So these are the things that I've made in there. So I'm going to make a thumbnail. This is the last thumbnail that I created. I just take that and update it. So I upload my own image, the one that I created for the thumbnail. Okay, we're going to delete this one. And we're going to put this one in. Simple. And then this video is going to be called, let's say, Happy Birthday Card featuring MFT and Lon. That's it. I have this all preset. I'm going to download it. And there's my thumbnail. So save it to my desktop so I can retrieve it quickly. And that's it. That's how I edit my videos or my photos for Instagram and YouTube and my blog. So if you guys have any questions about the photos or what I just showed you, please let me know. I can elaborate on things or answer any questions I know the answer to. And I hope that was helpful. See you next time. It's gonna be gone for like a week and a half. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna miss you.